The courtroom was silent except for the faint hum of the ceiling fan. Judge Samuel Carter adjusted his glasses and looked over the docket. Another long day, another list of entitled defendants. But nothing prepared him for the arrogance that was about to walk through those polished wooden doors. A bailiff called out, "Case number 4792, State of Georgia vs. Jason Langford." In walked a young man, no older than 21, dressed in an expensive blue suit that looked fresh off a luxury rack. His confidence wasn't earned, it was inherited. Behind him sat his father, Richard Langford, a real estate tycoon whose money had bought more silence than justice over the years. Jason strolled up like he owned the place. He smirked at the clerk, adjusted his watch, and took the stand like it was a stage. Judge Carter looked up from his file. "Mr. Langford, you are charged with reckless driving, property damage, and resisting arrest." "How do you plead?" Jason smirked. "Not guilty, obviously." Carter raised an eyebrow. "Obviously," Jason shrugged. "Look, it's not that serious. I was just having fun." "My dad's already talked to the courtroom murmured. Carter cleared his throat. "Mr. Langford, you're in my courtroom now. Your father doesn't make decisions here." Jason leaned forward, resting on the podium. "My father can fix this. He fixes everything." Carter's eyes narrowed. "Let's hope he taught you how to fix your attitude too." From the gallery, Richard shifted in his seat, whispering to his lawyer. He wasn't used to people talking to his son like that. The Langfords were used to control politicians, officers, even judges, but Samuel Carter was different. He wasn't for sale. The prosecutor played dashcam footage showing Jason's sports car weaving through traffic, clipping another vehicle, and spinning out into a storefront. Officers ran toward the wreck, but Jason had jumped out, shouting, "Do you know who I am? My father owns half the city." The courtroom gasped. Jason didn't flinch, he was used to the reaction. He leaned back, arms crossed, wearing the same smug grin. Judge Carter looked at him steadily. "Mr. Langford, do you deny saying those words?" Jason laughed under his breath. "Yeah, I said it, because it's true." Carter leaned forward. "So you believe wealth puts you above the law?" Jason chuckled. "Let's be real, Judge. People like you and me live in different worlds." The room went still. Judge Carter straightened his robe. "People like me?" Jason shrugged again, grinning. "You know what I mean. My father can buy this courthouse if he wanted to." "He can buy you." The entire courtroom froze. The bailiff stiffened. Even Richard Langford looked uneasy. Carter stared at the young man, calm, collected, the kind of calm that comes before a storm. He slowly removed his glasses, folded them, and placed them on the bench. "Mr. Langford," he said quietly, "I suggest you watch your words carefully." Jason smirked. "Why? You gonna add hurt feelings to my charges?" A sharp silence filled the room. Judge Carter looked over to the stenographer. "Record that statement," he said. Then he turned back. "We'll reconvene tomorrow morning. Mr. Langford, you are remanded overnight to county custody." Jason's smirk vanished. "Wait. What? You can't do that," Carter replied. "I just did." Two deputies approached, cuffed him, and led him out. Jason shouted back, "My dad's gonna destroy you, old man." Judge Carter didn't blink. "I look forward to meeting him." That night, news spread through the city. "Wealthy heir arrested after telling judge my father can buy you." Social media lit up with outrage, and the courtroom was packed the next morning. Richard Langford arrived with an army of lawyers and arrogance to match. Cameras flashed as he entered, whispering to his legal team, "We're going to end this man's career." But Carter wasn't intimidated. He'd seen money move mountains, but he'd also seen truth move nations. And in his courtroom, truth had no price tag. The next morning, Jason walked in wearing the same arrogance, but his hair was disheveled from one night in jail. The confidence had cracked, just a little. Judge Carter entered, robe flowing, face stern. "Mr. Langford," he said, "I hope you've had time to reflect." Jason muttered, "Yeah, I reflected on how ridiculous this is." Carter ignored it. "Before we continue, I'd like to address something important." He looked directly at Richard Langford. "This courtroom is not for sale. No amount of money can buy integrity, and no name can outrank justice." Richard's lawyer rose. "Your Honor, We move to dismiss all charges on the grounds of bias. You clearly have an issue with my client's family. Carter smiled faintly. Bias? You mean holding someone accountable is bias now? The lawyer started again, but Carter cut him off. Let me tell you a story. The courtroom leaned in. When I was a boy, Carter began, my father worked 3 jobs to keep food on our table. He taught me that respect isn't earned through wealth, it's earned through character. But in every city I've lived in, I've met men who thought money could silence conscience. They were wrong then, and they're wrong now. He turned to Jason. You said your father can buy me. Tell me, son, how much is integrity worth to you? How much for your mother's respect? How much for your future? Jason shifted uncomfortably. The courtroom was silent. Carter continued. I spent 20 years practicing law before I ever put on this robe. I've seen the poor punished for less than what you've done, and yet, here you stand, mocking the system that protects you. Jason's voice cracked slightly. It was just words. I didn't mean it like that, Carter nodded. Then today, you'll learn what words mean. He reached for his gavel. Sentencing. 90 days community service, plus mandatory restitution to the victims of your crash, and 1 full week of volunteer work at the county courthouse. You will stand in the same courtroom where you disrespected justice and serve it. Jason's mouth fell open. That's humiliating. Carter replied, exactly. Humility builds character. The gavel hit. Bam! Jason was furious. He turned to his father, expecting backup, but Richard Langford didn't move. He looked at his son with something rare in his eyes, disappointment. Outside, cameras swarmed them. Reporters shouted questions. Jason stormed past, humiliated. Richard paused, looking back at the courthouse door. Later that evening, Richard Langford requested a private meeting with Judge Carter. Against protocol, Carter agreed not as judge and defendant, but as 2 fathers. Inside chambers, Richard said quietly, you were right. Carter nodded. About what? My son's never heard no in his life. Maybe he needed to. Carter sighed. We're all trying to raise men who understand respect. Sometimes it takes consequences to teach what money never will. Richard extended his hand. For what it's worth, you have my respect. Carter shook it firmly. That's worth more than a check. The next week, Jason began his service sweeping floors, filing papers, helping clerks. Reporters followed him at first, waiting for him to slip, but something strange happened. He didn't. He listened. He helped. He learned. One afternoon, Carter entered the hallway where Jason was cleaning. The young man froze. Carter stopped, watching him for a moment, then said, good work, Mr. Langford. Jason straightened up. Thank you, Your Honor. Carter smiled slightly. How's it feel? Jason hesitated. Feels honest. I think my father was right. I needed this. Carter nodded. Then maybe there's hope for you yet. Months later, the story faded from headlines. Jason finished his service, enrolled in college again, and even spoke at youth events about privilege and accountability. His arrogance turned into awareness, and his father, for the first time, looked proud for the right reasons. Judge Carter kept doing what he'd always done, serving justice without a price. In a world where money often speaks loudest, one man reminded everyone that character still holds the final word. And that's how arrogance met justice and justice won. If this story moved you, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in fairness, and subscribe for more true cinematic stories of life, power, and redemption. Have a strong, peaceful day, and remember, respect isn't bought, it's earned.